Hi there, thanks for joining me. We're talking about one of our foundational exercises, base of support. That's an important component both in seated and standing exercises, so I wanted to talk about it today. Base of support means a nice firm grounding into the earth so that when we maybe hinge or pick up weights and are making sure that we're nice and even on our seat, that we have that extra grounding already in place. So just take a moment with me seated to gently rock heel to toe. So you can imagine you're a bit like a rocking horse right now. Your feet are where eventually if you push a rocking horse, it rocks for a while and then it finds that perfect center point where it's balanced. That's what we're looking for here. So you'll find your center point of your feet where your feet are nice and evenly on the ground. We're going to do the same thing side to side. So a little inversion, eversion, moving the feet onto the outer edge, inner edge, and then settling to center. From here, we're going to find the triangle points of our feet. That's the base of our big toe, the base of our baby toe, and our heel. So if you imagine this, my hand as my foot, base of the big toe, base of the baby toe, and the heel, and we're going to press them evenly into the ground. Now this doesn't need to be at 100% all the time. If I'm seated, I'm not going to be pressing very firmly into the ground, but I'm going to keep that grounding effect. So triangle points of my feet turned on. I want to have a wide enough stance that I'm comfortable and feel like I'm well supported. So typically for most people, that's a regular seated position, which is about hip width apart for the feet. Sometimes a little wider feels better, and especially if we're doing movements that shift us side to side, that gives us even more support if we have those triangle points turned on. So that's our main base of support setup from a seated position. And now I'm going to come to standing. And you might use your chair for this for a bit of support because we are going to do a tiny bit of rocking. Just be kind of aware of your surroundings as you do this. Soft knees, we're going to do the same thing. So we're going to do a tiny little front to back rock. Very small. We don't want to rock too far back on our heels. So just a front to back rock until you feel that midline settling in. And then softening out our knees a little bit in and out as well. So outer edge, inner edge of the feet. And then settling to our center point. And then actively pressing our triangle points of our feet into the ground. Of course, we now have the weight of our body pressing us into the ground as well. So we do have more pressure on our feet from a standing position than we would have for seated. So now I can adjust my base of support again according to the exercises that I'm doing. So if I'm doing something like a bicep curl, perhaps I'm good at a hip width base of support. If I'm doing something where maybe I'm doing a chest press with a bit of weight shift, I'm going to want a wider base of support so I have more room to move and also more structure in my movement. So I'm more comfortable as I shift my weight a little bit side to side. Also hinging our base of support is important for that. So I did reference that while we were seated as well. If I already have triangle points of my feet turned on, and now I forward hinge, I have a lot more support than if my feet are maybe tucked up underneath my chair with my heels up off the ground, for example. So triangle points turned on, hip width or more, depending on the exercise, base of support as I hinge, maybe reach to row and other exercises like that.